Hey, what is up, guys? It is Rapmark here. Doing my review for the first episode of Ms. Marvel. A new Disney Plus series. This is going to be 6 episodes long. Um, so, I believe I did I do the trailer reaction for this? I may not have. I may have only just seen the trailer. Uh, Yeah, I need to go back to check. But anyway, I do remember seeing the trailer, and I wasn't sure what to think about it. I mean, it looked fairly in my opinion, looked fairly over stylized. A bit much. I literally had no expectation, except that a high schooler, and I'm just like, I wonder how they're gonna pull this off. Um, Knew very little about the character. So what did I think about this? To be honest, I liked it. I think they did a very good job. So yeah, so Camilla Khan is a 16-year-old. She's in high school, and she is a huge fan of all of the superheroes. And her favorite one is of course Captain Marvel. So the I love her character because I mean essentially she's Pakistani. Her family's Muslim. Uh, it's a little weird. So I mean I am not Muslim, but I did serve in the military in the Middle East for a while. So on some level I do get Muslim culture. Maybe not the Pakistani aspect of it, but I do know some generalizations of Muslim culture, so I'll do my best to try to explain. Uh, again, I'm no expert, so it's a little strange. So the first one, the most you see of it is her family's her mother especially like seems much more on the being a good Muslim side, saying, oh, what was the word? I don't remember before driving test, sort of like a short prayer, um, and to dress modestly, which we'll get into later. Her dad is much more, seems a lot more open, and it's a little, but it is a little strange because he seems more open to let Kamala be, the person who, like in high school, you're kind of still figuring out who you are. That is like identity crisis is literally the epitome of high school, and it shows here very much. Like she's very up in the clouds, but also still torn between that and her family, which her mom for sure. I'm not fully sure about her dad. To be a good Muslim girl, uh, they she doesn't want her to go to this convention, which she assumes is a party, and it's like not even that late at night, but she thinks late up at night with guys who are thinking whatever things, as she says, drinking whatever things. It's just this is a kid convention. Um, I don't think she fully grasps it. But anyway, but yeah, so she's kind of torn with that whole situation. Um, and and when I spoke on the trailer about it being very, it was. but in a much better way, a much more interesting way than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be, just a whole bunch of just flashy lights and stuff like that. But no, there was a plan to it. I do think it was well constructed. I mean, there's graffiti, a lot of colors, and obvious and some animation even, like especially when it comes to like daydreaming. Um, and there's a really clever thing when she and her friend, owie, yeah, she and her friend, good grief, how have I forgotten his name already? Bruno, there we go. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, Bruno, who, is her best friend. Wow, where the heck was? Oh, when they're having a conversation about how her mother shot her down, just like said no, and then they did a lot of creative stuff with like lights on windows and fluorescent lights. Um, Honestly, it was really cool. I was surprised with how much I actually enjoyed that aspect of it. And as for him and her relationship, like you get the whole friend vibe, but towards the end of the episode, for sure, you kind of get the feeling that there wants to be more, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, are we gonna have a love interest? And I don't know how I feel about that just quite yet. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, but no, I love like all the references to Arabic culture. Uh, for sure. I didn't get everything. Again, I'm not a Muslim. Um, well, Muslim culture anyway, because they're Pakistani. Um, but I love the references to that. But there were a few things that I did get. Like there's a scene with her mom and like all the Indian aunties, like they love to gossip, and a large part of it is you want to get married off to a good man. Um, and if you're not, like, it's I don't know how to explain it, but I can see why it would be off-putting for some people. Like, it's just like, why would you want to live your life for that? It's just that's I don't know enough to like properly explain it other than that's just sort of the expectation if you're a woman, especially like if your parents are much more on the older side of things. So anyway, but she's 16. They just want her to be brought up as just a good girl. Um, and she's very. It shows her off as a very nerdy. Um, Again, up in the clouds. Very daydreamy. Very nerdy. Like she's an outcast. She's different. She's Pakistani, and like I, it's very relatable. So, as for her powers, so in the comics, I do know her powers as she's supposed to be one of those stretchy, manipulate. Her body type. But in this one, they opted for things with light and mystical, which for me kind of works out. I think the whole stretchy thing would look a little off-putting in a show like this. I'm not sure what the budget was. But I mean, there was a lot of heart into this. And the only real complaint I can say with it so far is that it it played on the tropes. This is an origin story, and we've seen so many origin stories. I mean, it could have been Spider-Man. I mean, how many times do you see someone imagining doing stuff on like a rooftop or a rooftop scene or something like that, just trying to, when she figures out she has powers. It's so yeah, she's the first episode mainly deals with her um figuring out she has power and mostly based on the family. Like it's but I mean you do see a lot of tropey things with the character development. But they do add, obviously their own spin on it. A lot of the people who worked on this show happen to be people that are within Muslim culture. Um, so it it felt very genuine, I guess is what I'm saying, and it felt like they wanted to get it across. It seemed a little weird how, well, no, never mind. But yeah, there was one point where I'm not sure how I felt about it, and that's where her mom agreed to let her go, uh, but she had to bring her dad, and she had to dress, as sort of Hulk and Little Hulk, and but it was much more, cover up and traditional, type garb. Uh, but I mean, he looked awesome. And I don't know. She may have been like, I get it. You want to go with your friends again. Like as an adult, I can say that I had probably done something like this, and you know what? I look back and just like, man, was I was a dick. But it's not cool to be with your parents, at that time. It's kind of an embarrassment. So I do get it. I just don't know how I feel about it. I mean, he was very hurt, and I'm not like she got that she hurt him. I just don't know like if she realized just how off-putting she was in that moment. I mean, I get it. Again, we were all at that age at one point, but I just don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it felt very genuine about a high school girl, wanting to go and being having restrictions put on it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes off in other episodes, but we'll see. Um, so how she gets her things, it has something to do with an armband that goes around her arm, and then all of a sudden she's like in this like weird sort of like spiritual metaphysical. I don't even know, like it's very stylistic, very bright, very light, and then she starts shooting things from her hand. Like she can't control it. And this is when she goes to the to the convention. So she has this whole plan to get there. It plays out in her head in a really crazy way. And the way it actually happens is not quite like she jumps from the tree and she flips and lands on her feet and goes and it's on time. Uh, Whereas when she does it this one, she's a bit late. The tree branch just completely breaks, and she loses her bike, and oh my gosh, it was funny. But yeah, anyway, to take part in this cosplay thing. The one thing I wish she would have done is shown her mom the cosplay that she was doing. Because I mean, it's just like skimpy outfits, and it's just like this outfit. At least this cosplay. Like you might be able to make the argument for Captain Marvel's outfit being, maybe a bit tight, but it covers up everything. And the one that she made, it definitely was nowhere near that tight. It did not look skimpy whatsoever. So I don't know, but like I get it. It's 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 a high schooler, and she's kind of dealing with like very restrictive parents when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah. But anyway, so during this cosplay, what is her name? Zoe. She's the most popular girl in the school. She's brought a sort of skimpy, like very skimpy type costume of Captain Marvel. Uh, so it's just like, oh my gosh. So she is the first one up, and then she does this light show with her powers, and it like knocks the head off of a big Ant Man. Um, Thor's hammer comes and actually crashes into Zoe, sending her. She grabs onto it and is sent airborne. Um, but she does save it like so she projects this sort of hand of light that sort of catches her when she falls off of it, and it's just like, whoa, what happened? And she gets out of there. Um, and then she's late, and her mom is there, been waiting in her room, and she's just like, "Do you want to be the good girl that we raised you to be, or do you want to be an in the clouds cosmic person?" And then she, waves up her hand, and then there's this thing of light, and it's just like cosmic. So I mean, the first episode I can definitely say got my interest. I don't think it was the best one. It did rely a fair amount on origin story tropes, obviously, um, but I did like the attention to detail. I did like the stylistic choices they made, and I liked how they had it was by and large made by many people of Muslim culture. So it is, I imagine it's pretty real to life. I mean, you have so many different like cultures though within that as well, and this being America and them seeming to be fairly Americanized. Definitely her for sure. Uh, by her, I am referring to Kamala Khan. Um, so I mean, I like this episode a lot. I'd probably give this one an 8, It was interesting. I am interested to know more. I liked the choices they made. Oh, and at the end, there is some sort of like government agency, police agency, I don't know, who are looking to find her through a viral video and just like, let's go pick her up. And that's how it ends. That's how the episode ends. So we'll see who are these guys. So far, no bad guy as far as I can tell. A potential love interest. Um, at least a sort of like normal hidden identity like rivalry. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, all in all, I did enjoy this. So yeah, I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. So there are my thoughts on it. I mean, it was so different, but In some respects, I got sort of like Scott Pilgrim vibes from it, to be honest. If any of you seen that one, you'll make sense, especially with the stylistic choice they went with it in terms of like graffiti and animation and stuff like that and lighting. But yeah, well, I guess we'll see what this show has in store next week. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.